Hello everybody. You may have noticed that I'm in a different car this morning, and that's because I've finally got it. I've got it. It's arrived. I'm so excited. I'm so happy and excited. It's finally happened. My Tesla Model 3 Performance has arrived in Australia, and I tell you what, there's no doubt it's worth the wait. Absolutely zero doubt that it's worth the wait. If you put your order in, I made a ranty video not long ago about how I'm waiting, and it's been a long time, and people aren't getting their cars, and it's going to take forever. And someone that still stands, you're going to be waiting if you order a Tesla today. But it's worth it, everybody. It really is. So here it is. It's my Model 3 Performance 2022, brand new. I took delivery in late August, and I've had it for a week. I've racked up about 1,000 Ks already, over 1,000 kilometers in the first week. Been driving it everywhere, and I am super impressed by this car. There's an awful lot that is just absolutely right about the Tesla Model 3 Performance. So in this video today, while I'm on this high early on, I'm just going to talk about all the good things that I love about this car. There are a bunch of things that could be better, and there's a bunch of things that could be better for, not a lot of effort from Tesla. Before I start, the reason that I want to sell this car to everyone is not because it's environmentally friendly. People need to stop saying that to me about how, it's good for the environment, it's not good for the environment, it's good for the environment, blah, 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 you're using fuel, you're not using fuel. I don't care about any of that. I'm just talking about this car as a car. Its drivability, its looks, how it functions, all of the things that are nice about this thing. So let's start listing all the amazing things. And some of these might not be the most obvious, but for me, they are great. The number one thing that people are going to appreciate about the Model 3 is the performance, and the Model 3 Performance lives up to its name. 3.3 seconds from 0 to 100, and that's amazing. I have a Kawasaki Z900 in the garage at the moment. I've had it for quite a while now, and that bike is perfect. 120 horsepower, sort of good compromise for a motorcycle, and this thing accelerates as fast as that. So that's just amazing. So whether you like electric cars or not, that sort of performance for the money that you are laying down, I think that's amazing for a car. There's nothing like being pushed back into your seat, and it's instant. It's just instant. I know you've heard it before, but it's instant. Like you put down, boom, you're away. And it's just so good. Everyone loves it. Everyone who's been in it is just like blown away by it. It's super quick. All right, so that's that. Second thing is the looks of the Performance versus the other models. So the Performance comes with the 20-inch Uber turbine wheels. You've probably heard about those as well. Apparently they're heavy and whatever. I got no idea. But all I can tell you is in terms of the looks, I love the 20-inch rims on the Model 3. It just brings the car together a little bit nicer. I reckon it just gives it a nicer profile. It definitely works better with the larger wheels. Okay. So the third one, it's not an obvious one, but it's a steering wheel. I love the steering wheel in this car. It's a slightly smaller one, definitely smaller than like my Triton and the i30 even. And the thing that I really like about it is its profile. So if you look at it from the side, it has like a, I don't know, it's definitely not round. It's a square, sort of a squared off top. And I love that feeling. I don't know what it is, but it's just, maybe it's a little bit from my go-kart days, but I just love how it's nice and flat, and it's good feedback, I feel, with how you grip something with that flat part rather than fully round. So just a small tiny thing, but I love the profile of the steering wheel. Okay, another obvious thing is the minimalist styling in here. The dash, there's no buttons. You know, it's what the Model 3 is known for. It really does add to the whole ambience of the car, just to have nothing in front of you except for this big gigantic screen and the steering wheel, and that's about it. That's for me. I really love the minimalistic look. Some people aren't into it. I really love it. Center piece of this cabin is, of course, this gigantic screen here. It's a 15-inch, I think, lovely tablet looking thing. heard a lot of people say that they're only going to get into menus and whatever, but sooner or later, like within a week, I've basically found out all the shortcuts I need to find. Nothing's more than 2 touches away, basically. So that's really quite nice. Yeah, I can't really fault the screen itself. It's super responsive, it's super fast. This one's running the AMD Ryzen chip. I can't speak highly enough about the screen. It's very, very good. Another thing you're going to really love about the Model 3 is the regenerative braking. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Everyone who's a test, I've given a bit of a test ride too. They don't like it's a very unusual concept because it's not how you normally drive a car. But within a few minutes, you get used to it. You really do get used to it. And after a week, I love it. I love the system. Kind of makes you a little bit more of an aware driver in terms of when you brake. Like I was already quite careful when I come up to cars, and I would brake early and gently brake as I'm coming up to cars. But in the Model 3, you can kind of feather and ride the accelerator to get the same effect. It just comes to a standstill by itself basically, and once you get it right, it's spot on. And so I really, really like that. The second bit, a bit of an add-on to that, I haven't spoken about the best part about this whole thing, and the best part about the system for that regenerative braking in this car is that when you go and take a corner, the braking still continues mid-corner. Okay, so it's almost like you're left foot braking while you are also on the accelerator. So you get to kind of play around with the amount of input and the amount of resistance that you let the car have in the corner. So that's people talk about how you're not connected to the car, right? I reckon that's a lot of crap. I have never felt so connected to a car than I have in this Tesla. And I'll put a lot of that down to the regenerative braking and how it comes on while you're accelerating. So as soon as you lift your foot, that regenerative braking kicks in and starts pulling the car back, but you're in control because you get to control the accelerator at the same time as to how much you want that to happen. And so that's amazing. I think it really does connect you to the car. So another standout in the Model 3 is, and it's in the performance, I'm not sure if it's in the base model, but this stereo system for a base model is amazing. Front stage is beautiful. There's speakers everywhere. It has a bit of bass. I haven't even needed to crank the bass up to what I would normally have it. I don't really want to ruin it. I don't know how good it's going to be in terms of longevity, but it has bass, everyone. The Model 3 performance has bass. The view out of the cabin when you're driving, it's amazing, nice and big. I think a lot of people mention this in their reviews and their feedback about these cars. The windscreen size at the front is gigantic compared to a normal car, and you're getting, if you like to see your bonnet, you can do that. I'm not really that fussed about seeing the bonnet, but I can definitely see like the 2 side sort of scoops. So, but I like to sit as low as I can in the car, and so that's pretty cool that I can sit really low in the car and still have awesome visibility over the dash. So that's great. The sunroof is a bit of a gimmick for me. I'm not too sold on that one. Like, it's good for the kids, they love it. It does bring a little bit of light into the cabin, which is cool, but I could have that all vinyl wrapped and it would be sweet. I wouldn't care. Really like the way that you open the doors from the inside. So most of the time, again, it's just a new way of using a car, and you press that little button and the door opens out, like sort of kind of releases, and then you can sort of push it out. The door is kind of designed in a way that it's light enough for you to just, I can't even describe, like you kind of like press it out a little bit and it just does it. So that's pretty cool, the way that mechanism works. So that's, I think that's a win for Tesla. Probably going to be seeing that in a lot more cars coming up in the next few years. The wireless charging, get my phone, shove it down on the wireless pads. Amazing, easy. Every time I accelerate, so forth, it just stays there. I've never had the phone fall off. I haven't done some real huge twisty roads or gone anything silly yet. I imagine it might fall off then, but it's got the felt there, which is keeping the phone nice and steady. I haven't had to really put my phone onto the charger at home because it's getting that boost every time I'm driving. The seats are quite good. I wouldn't rate them the best seats. I'm very fussy about my car seats, and these are nice. They're kind of supportive. I do like that. And I do like the way that the headrest comes forward a little bit, and you can sort of rest your head a little bit while you're driving. But I think they're kind of like a 7 out of 10, all right, for the seats, I'd say. The material is the fake leathery sort of stuff, a little bit slippery, obviously easy to clean it's going to be, and I do need to clean this car, but yeah, they're pretty good. Another amazing thing about the Tesla is the entry mode and the driver's settings for the seat and the steering wheel and the mirrors. So I really like the driver settings in the car. So this has a easy entry mode, which means that when I leave the car, I've got the steering wheel set up in a way so that it kind of allows me to get out of the car easily, as well as the seat. I mean, I'm in the easy entry mode right now. When I push the brake pedal down, the car changes to my profile. So the steering wheel moves, the seat moves, the mirrors adjust, everything becomes my settings. And my wife has one, my kids have one when they play in the car. It's just a different setting for every person that sits in the seat. I really like that. It's a little bit of a gimmicky, cool thing to get in the car, and it just sort of molds around you when you get in. And then when you go to leave, it kind of opens up so you can escape your car easier. So that's pretty cool. There's just too much to cover. The design. So I'll be honest, I am not a huge fan of the design of this car on the outside. Okay, so the outside styling. The back I love. I love the Hawkeye looking rear tail light and the way that the back end on the Model 3 is designed, especially with that little spoiler, that little lip spoiler. If you look at it from the side, it really kind of finishes off nicely, and it's just a little bit of a touch of a sportiness. And I didn't think it was going to be a huge difference, but it really is. It really just sets the car off nicely at the back. I love the profile from the side. I love the way that the car swoops, and a fastback sort of kind of a fastback look in terms of this back pillar, and the way that the glass flows down, especially now that it's been tinted. Nice and dark, offsets the white really nicely. I do love that. I love that part. The mirrors, I think, are really well designed. They're not too big. They kind of fit the profile of the car. Then you go around to the front and things change a little bit, all right? Quite a bit. So there's no other car on the road like it except for the Model Y. I don't know what they were thinking about that grille area. Like a typical car wouldn't have the radiator at the front, it would need a vent, and that's why we have cars looking the way they're looking these days. This doesn't need that. Obviously there's no radiator, so they've just kind of bunged on this flat bit, and to me it looks like a carp, like it's a fishy sort of, not a good fish, not like a shark or a aggressive predatory fish or anything. It's like a carp, like with a big open mouth. And no, I don't really like that front part, but this is a video about the things I do like. And what I do like, and it's growing on me, is those two sort of scoopy bonnet scoops sort of thing. Well, not scoops, the way that they jut up a little bit on the outside near the lamps, and the actual lights themselves. I do like the design of the lights. I really like the daytime running light on this car. You can see a Tesla from a mile away, nice and clear. And it's really well designed. It's one piece, which looks really cool. But overall, the front aesthetic is a little bit, I don't know, it looks a bit funny. And looking at the car straight on, I hate it. Okay, but we're talking about positives. Okay, another thing I really kind of like about the Model 3's interior is the sun visor. It has a little curve to match that profile going upwards, which is pretty cool. Just something a bit different I've never experienced on a car before. And when you pull it down and you push it across, you can actually pull it out a little bit, like some old school cars, which is cool. You can actually block off the sun for reals, and that little magnetic clip to put it back in. That's pretty cool. I was a little bit iffy about the wood grain in here, but I'll tell you what, it's really grown on me. I kind of like the white interior, but I couldn't have it not with my kids, and just the way that, you know, how messy we are and the stuff that we do in our car. So I had to go with the black, and the black came with the wood grain. I tell you what, it's really grown on me. So it's a very modern sort of wood grain, and you can kind of feel a little bit of grain in the texture. Slight sort of chrome highlights. It's great. It's really brings the car together nicely. I kind of really liked the way that is finished. I was going to maybe put a wrap over that or something or other, but I'm going to leave it for now because I don't mind it at all. I reckon it looks quite cool. All right, we've come sort of towards the end. I'm going to mention one final thing that I really like about this car, and it's something that in the past, especially from the first generation Teslas, fit and finish. When I picked up the car, I had I don't know, about 20 minutes, I think it took to look over the car, sort of the way I was having a bit of a chat with the sales agent and, looking over the car as I'm going along, and the fit and finish of this thing from China, from Shanghai. Guys, well done over there. This is looking very, very nice. There's no rattles, not in this one. Everything works as it should. There's no panel problems, not in mine at all. The way that the rear, the boot finishes with the pillar, beautiful. Nothing like I've seen on previous videos. So these cars coming out of Shanghai are really, really good. And the sales agent actually commented that they are coming across really nicely at the moment. So they've obviously been very cognizant and aware that they need to improve their quality control. And this Model 3 here, this is it's beautiful. There's no fit and finish problems whatsoever in this car. It is brand new though. Like I said, it's in its first 1,000 Ks. I wonder if things will, shake loose a little bit as the days go on, especially as being a performance. And we'll see about that. But look, first impressions, I love this car. It's amazing. I love everything about it. Well, no, I can't say that, but I love 95% of things in this car. I absolutely love. I haven't been to a petrol station for over a week, so that's pretty cool. I didn't think I would enjoy that as much, but I love going home and just plugging it in and just knowing that it's full of tech. Anyway, so this is the first video of what is promising to be quite a few coming up in the next little while. I have a lot to say about this car. There's a lot to cover, and I know there's a lot of content out there, but I'm going to try to cover some of the more other bits and pieces that people might not have seen before, like for example using a Zappy. I think there's not enough content out there on how the Zappy works. I'm going to cover a little bit more about the drive dynamic and how the Tesla has changed the way I drive and what that means for us and the future. I'll also have a bit of a look into let's have a look at the environmental impact of these cars, because again, I think there's a lot of misinformation going around and no one really, I haven't seen anyone really go in depth. If you can find a video where someone goes really in depth about the manufacturing, blah, 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 like how day-to-day use, how how actually is the Tesla Model 3, are Teslas and EVs actually good for the environment? That's, and don't just say no or yes. Let's have a bit of a delve into it. So that's all coming. Anyway, guys, loving this car. If you're thinking about buying one, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. All right. Bye.